Hey y'all, so I wanted to give you all an update. I am currently in Acadia National Forest. It is so gorgeous. I was able to get a couple of days up here for my birthday week and enjoyed it so much and was super lucky I was able to get another spot for a couple of extra days. So I extended my trip and we are still out amongst the beautiful Mount Desert Island. We have gone hiking in the woods. We've hiked along the coastline. It was absolutely stunning. It's very different than the coast that I grew up with. Being from Florida, we're used to kind of very flat, very sandy, soft sand, particularly if you're on the West Coast. This is not. This is rocky cliffs, giant waves. It was just breathtaking. So we did that. We have explored a bunch of different areas of the park. I still have not done Mount Cadillac, which I'm hoping to do later this week. But as this part of the stay was unplanned, I am back to work. So during the day, it is unfortunately, sadly, back to the job, doing that, which I am really fortunate. I love what I do. So even though I'm joking about like, oh, poor me, I actually really enjoy what I do. So it's not so bad. But back to work during the days. And then in the evenings, I get to enjoy. I've got about 3 or 4 hours of sunlight / dusk between when I get off of work and when the sun goes down, obviously. So it gives us quite a bit of time to explore. The girls are doing good. They mostly take cat naps in the sun and they watch the wildlife out the windows or out the front door. They really like to sit, they sit on the individual steps and look out the front doors and just watch things. Preston goes on all of my adventures with me. I actually just got a new backpack so that when I take the e-bike out, he can come with me too, because that way it'll be safer for him. And if we go faster than a little jaunt, it'll be fine. I am currently making my fire and trying to boil water for dinner. I could just bring my stove out, but what's the fun in that? Oh, there we go. Hold on a second. There we go. It needed more wood. So it's been an amazing experience. Last week we did some of the trails in the main part of the park, and it was really pretty. Just beautiful trees, lots of up and down, which I'm still getting used to. This flatlander is not used to these hills. We haven't done Mount Cadillac yet, but I'm hoping probably later this week to go do that. I'd really love to be able to summit Mount Cadillac and see the sun go down. So maybe one day this weekend. We went to Scodic Point, which was really gorgeous. Giant, rocky expanse dropping off into the ocean, and then the waves just were massive for what I'm used to, and really active, and it's just splashing up everywhere. It was really cool. Preston loves jumping from rock to rock and exploring all the puddles and things like that, so he always has a blast. We are very safety minded, so he has his harness on, obviously, and he's actually attached to me. We use a jogger's leash so that I can have both of my hands free for balance and things like that, but then he can also move around, but he can only get 6 feet away from me, which he's tiny, that's all he needs. Also, that's the max leash length for dogs in the park is 6 foot, so it's perfect for us. When he is back at camp, if we are outside, we use I'll show you guys, we use a long line, and it's connected to the step up in the front and then the grating in the back. So that gives him, the length of the bus to run back and forth. We've been in other spots where I've been able to attach it to the bus and then to something else and give him more space away from the bus, but this site is very narrow, so this keeps him off the roads. Yeah, he hears me talking and he's like, yes. But it's been beautiful. I went out to kayaking last week. I actually planned it so that on my birthday, when it started, I'd be out on the water, and Brian was my tour guide. He was absolutely amazing. I want to do like a full review of him and his tour later, but just this little gushy tour, it was stunning. Got there, it was a private tour, which I did not realize. I had misread the website, so it was just me and him out on a tandem kayak. It was the night of the new moon, so it was super dark. It was gorgeous. The stars were absolutely breathtaking. I don't know if I've ever seen so many stars. And the water has the bioluminescence in it, so as you're paddling, it looks like glitter is like coming off of your paddle. It was so wonderful. And actually, at one point, Brian asked if I had noticed the bioluminescence yet. And I was like, no, because I had been staring straight up the entire time I was paddling. And then I looked down and I like lost it because it was just really pretty behind me. It was such a wonderful experience. Highly recommend it to anybody who comes up here. He does the night tours. He also does wildlife tours, and he's got like a dinner tour I was looking at on his thing, which looked really cool. So I will share all of his information. He was a wonderful guide, explained how to get set up in the kayak and everything. I had never been in a sea kayak. I've done a ton of kayaking, just not in a sea kayak on the sea. So he was, was able to give clear communication, had lots of nifty facts to share, and was just like a great social companion while hanging out on the water, and a great guide. It was a really awesome evening. It was just absolutely magical. And I rung my birthday in on the water. It was awesome. I've also been working on some organization projects. It started this weekend because I have a electric 3.0, which is an electric bike, which I absolutely love. However, it's only 60 pounds, which is not that much in the grand scheme of things. However, when you fold it and I'm trying to carry it up the stairs, I'm too short to get like a good lift on it. And so trying to take it in and out of the bus on the lift or up the stairs is not an option. I wanted to use the lift instead. Well, that would make a great spot for it, except for there was a bunch of stuff in the spot where the lift was. So everything that was in the spot in front of the lift, between the lift and the bed, needed to leave and find a new home because the bike was finding a new home. And it wasn't as easy as just moving, everything from point A to point B and vice versa. It's taken a little bit more than that because, of course, I was like, well, if I'm going to move it, I've been planning on moving this other thing too in that same space. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's turned into a whole thing, a whole thing. And so, unfortunately, the bus is currently chaos because moving or reorganizing or building anything in a bus or tiny house or a school, like the schoolie, whatever, when you live in it, is definitely a thing, because you don't have like, oh, I'll just move everything to this other room and let it sit there while I work on this. You can't do that. You have to take weather into account. I can't just necessarily take everything and put it outside and like, oh, I'll leave it outside unattended while I'm doing all of this other stuff. It's not that easy. So that's actually what tonight's plan is to put the house back together some, because it's kind of pure chaos right now. It wasn't my intention to do that, but that's kind of what happened. Also, if you hear Preston, there's a bird, and he has become very excited about birds, and he might try to bolt. The nice thing about the long line is that he can bolt, but he can't go very far. and it's got a bunginess to his leash, so it won't hurt him either, even if he like runs full speed. But that is the quick update. I will have a much more in-depth, like with pictures and the whole 9 yards later, but I did want to share just like a little update, a little chat of what we've been up to this past week. So thank you for joining me. I look forward to sharing more later. And yeah, have a wonderful evening, week. Don't forget to find wonder in the world, because it's everywhere.